Good morning, everybody. Um, I would like to talk about something totally different than God stuff. Um, this subject is about fibromyalgia and my symptoms with fibromyalgia. I had fibromyalgia all my life. My mother said I started having pains in my body that would not go away when I was about 2. So, I'm going to list my symptoms. You might have the same, or you might know somebody that has fibromyalgia. So, this could be a good topic to talk to them about. Most people that have fibromyalgia, they are willing to talk about their symptoms. If not, they they don't understand that the more you talk about what's going on here with your body and with others, the more easier for people around them to understand. Okay, I'm going to list the ones from the highest problem I have to the lowest. And there's only like maybe 4. Okay, I am very hypersensitive to cold. When I get cold, um, the the fibromyalgia pain clicks in immediately. Um, I have difficulty maintaining sleep. I do take a 5 milligrams of melatonin a night, and that does help. That really does help a lot. Um, the fatigue, I do get tired very easy, so I do have to maintain and watch what if I want to do an activity, maybe at night, I take maybe an afternoon nap. Or if I have to get up early, I'll go to bed earlier the next night, and that helps. And that's also got to do with before I took melatonin at night, I had days that I would just sleep all day, even if I slept at night. So I don't have nearly as much as fatigue with the melatonin than without it. So you might want to look into maybe getting some melatonin at the pharmacist. And you might say, well, I don't know what, like they have 1 milligram, 3 milligram, or 5 milligram. Um, I would, if you're in doubt, go with maybe the 3 milligram. And if that doesn't work, then go maybe to the higher dosage. But I would, somebody told me be careful with melatonin because it turns you can take too much. And of course, it helps you sleep. So, yeah, anything that like pain, sleeping pills or melatonin, be very careful with because they do cause you um, to sleep, and they do help you sleep. So if you take too much, well, um, it can be damaging, I think. Okay, let's see, we already talked about hypersensitive, maintaining difficulty maintaining sleep. We talked about the fatigue, and then depression's the last one I deal with. Um, you can take protein, and I found that helps a lot. A lot of it, if I focus have positive things around me, like maybe animals are very good to help, um, so you don't get lonely. Um, it just when I get depressed, I pray and I ask the Lord to help. But I mainly, if I keep my focus on the things of the Lord, um, then I find that I don't get depressed as much. But when I just do my own little thing and this happens, especially when you don't feel good, you get depressed, right? So have positive things um, to focus on when you're not feeling good. Um, a lot of times I'll just sleep it off. I'll sleep off the pain in anything. So these are my symptoms, and it is good to write down, maybe in a little notebook. And if your family members don't understand what you're going through, you can sit down and talk to them and say, look, these are I've been diagnosed with fibromyalgia, and this is what I'm dealing with, and they can see that list and go, okay, um, let's if you're hypersensitive to cold like I am, okay, let's make sure that you have enough blankets or enough a warm jacket. I always carry I always carry, even in the summertime. I live in Arizona, so even in the summertime, I will carry a long sleeve shirt or a jacket, because you go to one room where it's 104 degrees outside, too hot, and then you go to an air conditioned room that's like 65. If you're hypersensitive to cold, immediately you're going to feel that. So, um, you know, there's been times where I would have to leave a church, or I would go into another room to listen to the sermon at church. And I would just tell whoever I sent by, so they know that I'm not leaving for good. Look, it's just too cold in here for me. I'm going to go in the other room. And of course, my husband understands. He's like, okay. But there's been times where I would have to leave. It would just be too cold. I was in a meeting the other night, and I was going to sit in the other room, but they had the front door open to let the cool air from the outside in, and I thought, this ain't going to work. So I just decided to come on home from that meeting. And luckily I was able to see the rest of the meeting on the internet, that they broadcast their meetings. So that was a very good help. But a lot of times, if you are sensitive to cold and it triggers your fibromyalgia pain, the best thing is to have a jacket, or if you're at church, I go to a church that they have blankets all over, because there's other people that have fibromyalgia at my church that I attend. So, some people are hypersensitive to cold. Some people are hypersensitive to heat, warm. So, if you share a room, you have a roommate that's hypersensitive to cold, hot, then they need to be in a colder environment. And that was the case one time. I was sharing a room with a lady, and she had fibromyalgia too, but the cold affected me, but the heat affected her. So it was a little bit. You had to be sensitive to people's things, especially if you understand. Okay, if they get too hot, then they're gonna really hurt. So just be aware of everybody's different. There's so many different things with fibromyalgia. There's not just one symptom, but it's a cluster of you got this, you got this, you got this, you got that, and they all packaged together in a nice little painful package, you know. And sometimes it's very difficult living with fibromyalgia. It's very, very difficult sometimes. You know, I wish I had this list. I looked it up today, and I was like, "Whoa, yeah, that's what I got." This and that, and I was able to pinpoint what was going on with my body. I wish I had that years ago when I was a kid. Um, then my parents, they know that if I get cold, I hurt. And so I don't know if they know all about all the other symptoms I have or not. I really don't talk to them. We don't talk about that. So, but it's a common understanding. I was always raised in a good Christian environment that they're like, yeah, you have got this problem, but we're gonna raise you the same as a normal person. So I never had anybody tell me, well, it's all in your head. If you did this, if you did that, you're just a psycho person that thinks that you're always sick. I never really had that. I always had a good support group, and that helps a lot. What if you have fibromyalgia is to find a good support group. They are support groups out there. The first time I went to a support group is public setting, and everybody in the room was just like me. And I was like, wow, this is really neat. And of course, I learned a lot through that support group. So find a support group. If it's writing down the symptoms you have and telling your family, this is what I deal with. Let's talk about it as a family. That could maybe help them. Or go on the internet, look for a support group in your area that might help. But the more education you can give yourself, the better. Because then you can know, okay, I have to stay away from cold environments. Don't go shopping without, don't go for ice cream without a warm jacket. Okay? Um, or carry a warm jacket with you if you have that problem. Or, just different things. There's so many different things, you guys, with fibromyalgia. It's not just one thing. So my time is up, so we'll talk to you later. I just wanted to share with you guys this. But I'm believing, that God is going to heal each and every one of these symptoms. He has already healed a lot of them, and a lot of them He's given me wisdom, like the cold. I for years I did not know why my fibromyalgia pain came. I did not know until I asked the Lord, and the Lord said, it's because of the cold. When you get cold, cover up. And so I've learned that I'm sensitive to cold. Um, Sometimes the Lord don't heal. Sorry, but sometimes the Lord does heal. In not in maybe not just a physical way, but He heals in giving you wisdom of how to avoid those areas. Um, you know, it's like with the maintaining sleep. I was like, Lord, you really got to help me with this. And He said, take melatonin. That's what the Lord told me. He gave me wisdom how to help myself in that. It's not like a self-help thing, but the Lord does give people wisdom of what to do. But I do believe that supernaturally, God is going to heal me, and God has healed me many, many times with fibromyalgia. Now, does that mean that I never have fibromyalgia again? You know what? the Lord knows what I can handle and what I can't handle. And I thank the Lord that I don't have all these all at once. Thank God. Because there's been times where I've had all these all at once, and trust me, that's when you're crying and you're like, ugh. But God knows what we can handle and what we can't handle, and He's in control of every situation that comes our way. So if you are a person that has fibromyalgia and you're listening to this and you go, wow, that really helps. Um, I pray every time I have pain that God helps somebody else out with fibromyalgia. Okay, you guys, my time is up, so we'll talk to you later. Bye.